guys at Steele, broker for RE/MAX, 4 Seasons Realty Limited Brokerage, and this is Season 2, Episode number 16 of Saugeen Shores 20 and 20. We are on location, Main Street, Port Elgin. This is Optimize Healing Center. Let's go in and see what they heal. We'll be right back. All right, folks, we're inside here with Doug Friday. This is Optimize Healing Centers. Doug, tell me a little bit about what goes on here.
Well, at Optimize, our focus is to reconnect brain and body. I do that through chiropractic and through some of the what we call functional neurology work. Growing Connections, which is made up of Mandy and Penny, they do it through various sensory work. A lot of it is computer-based, and the idea basically is to find weak areas in the brain and train those. And it's amazing. Once you do that, the brain rewires itself, and it's absolutely incredible.
So now I need you to dispel a bit of a myth here. People taught chiropractor years and years and years ago. It was all about bone crunching. Yep. I was a little hesitant to come in for that reason, but you changed that. Is it still a bone crunching process?
Well, no, it's more about moving a joint beyond what we call its normal range of motion into what they call a physiological range of motion. And we are the only profession, chiropractors, that are trained to move a joint into physiological range of motion. And when you do that, you get maximum reboot of the sensory cells in the joint. You get maximum reboot up to the brain. So now the brain is more aware of that area and can heal it the best it can. So, I mean, that's really, in a nutshell, what chiropractors do. And that's what we do when we're dealing with the brain, both Growing Connections and myself. We're really trying to increase sensory input into the brain or find a weak area of the brain and train it through various computer-based, usually, training devices.
Fantastic. All right, so we're going to pause here. We're going to go have a look at some of the different rooms and processes that you do here. So we'll be right back, folks. And I do want to say, it's going to be a bit of a long video, but definitely worth the watch, because here you'll feel much better. We'll be right back. All right, so we're inside a room here that looks quite interesting. Hyperbaric chamber. What's this all about, Doug?
Well, it's called HBOT, which stands for Hyperbaric Oxygen Therapy. And basically what it does is it pushes more oxygen into the body, and we need oxygen for healing.
It is interesting. I've had quite a few sessions in this unit, and yeah, you come out feeling refreshed, revitalized.
Yeah, and one of the things is most people for an hour, we live in this pressure cooker world. When do you get an hour to kind of chill? So you're in there for an hour. Most people fall asleep. You can bring your phone, your iPad if you want to do that kind of stuff, but a lot of people just take it and have a nice sleep in there. And sleep is when your body does do most of its healing. So to combine that, with more oxygen, it does a real good job.
Excellent. All right, well, let's go check out some of the other things that you do here.
All right. So what we're doing is we're reconnecting sensory input into the brain, right? So the brain is more aware of the body, and that's obviously a good thing. Especially with seniors, if they have any balance, vertigo issues, a lot of times in the neck area, if we can restore proper sensory input up to the brain, then their balance gets better. So we restore that sensory input, the brain becomes more aware of the body functions that much better.
Okay, so I'm in a room here that is for neurobiofeedback, and I was able to pronounce that. I'm here with Penny, and she's going to show us. It's not a video game. Well, it kind of is a video game, but not your typical Nintendo video game. This is designed to help not just kids, but adults too, learn how to control things like anxiety. Am I correct, Penny?
Yep, anxiety, focus, attention. This little guy here's this big guy, he's a high school student, was having a really hard time focusing at school, and we did neurofeedback with him, which is a form of brainwave training. And as we were going along, it was getting better and getting better, and he ended up in a fight at school, and ended up with a concussion, which put him back so far. He felt that he had done no work at all. And the school was like, well, this isn't working, he's getting angry again. But because I had the data, which you can see here is the brainwave data I'm looking at,
Right.
I could tell the school that no, his brainwaves have completely changed since this concussion, and he needs to not be at school for at least 3 weeks. So because we had the physical data, we could support him in his quest. And he's now, he came along really, really well. He ended up doing part co-op and part school, and he graduated and has a full-time job. Every kid that I've ever known always tries their best. So if there's a barrier to their learning or a barrier to their success at school, it's finding out why. So for some kids, their vision system doesn't work at all, and they can't pay attention, right? So, and we work closely with Dr. Robinson to look at what their eyes are doing and how they're processing things, and then we also look at their auditory processing, how they're able to manage information. And often that could be just the reason why they're not paying attention. Like, there's a reason why kids can't pay attention, and in the neurofeedback, it is actually brainwave and not in sync. Then we work with this.
Fantastic. All right, well, let's go and check out some more of what you guys do here.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Thanks.
All right, so we are in a room here with Mandy. And Mandy, what is it that you do here at Optimize?
What I do is I assess and then treat people, so kids or adults that have auditory processing or visual processing issues.
Fantastic. So again, as we were speaking with Penny, it's not just necessarily a learning issue. It could be that they're just not processing because they're not hearing it.
That's right. They can hear, they can have perfect hearing, and we send all of the kids that come to see us and the adults for hearing tests. But you can hear it, it reaches your eardrum okay, but it doesn't go from your eardrum to your brain. So in a classroom for a student who's in fight or flight or has anxiety, the teacher's voice, they already know that is not going to be dangerous, but all those other sounds, like little Jimmy sitting there behind them, someone else is ruffling papers, and then the HVAC system turns on and the teacher's talking to a student in the hallway. That student who's in fight or flight or has high anxiety is able to listen to all of those pieces. Of course, they don't make any sense and they don't give them information, but the teacher's voice is completely turned off because that cannot be a source of danger.
That's like sensory overload.
It is, that's right. So fight or flight response in full-blown action. If I give you a phone number at that point in time, you wouldn't even be able to remember 2 numbers.
Wow.
Because your auditory processing will be shut off, because you don't need to listen if a tiger's chasing you. You just need to be able to run and react. That's what fight or flight is.
Wow.
Yep.
That's incredible.
So I'll just give you a little quick demo, if you want, of this little system. So usually the kids or the people wear headphones because they listen to the sound close up like that. But in this case, some kids or some people can't handle the direct sound so close to their ears. Even though they can't make sense of it, it's overwhelming to them. And so ambient sound or the same sound of the bell coming out of my little tiny speaker works better for them. And it's a great way to demonstrate what's going on. So for this little system right here, I'm going to play this video game, and my goal is to get a monkey up the tree to get those bananas. And I can only do that by clapping this little hand button at exactly the same time as the bell. Okay? There's going to be a little box on the screen that shows you how close I am, and it's measured in milliseconds. So the little numbers in the box are how close I am. All right. Start with a big deep breath. Tried to talk and do this at the same time, you can see what happens. It makes it really hard for me to pay attention to that bell and get that monkey up that tree to get that. He just needs 2 more scooches up that tree. There we go.
Wow.
And there we go. So usually if people try to talk while they do that, their score goes into the hundreds and they're actually missing completely. They can't hear the sound at all. And I had a super educated person in here last week who's just finishing a residency. He was okay at this, and then I started asking him questions about, what'd you have for lunch? Did you bring your lunch? Do you want to join us for lunch? And he started to laugh because he could no longer do this.
Right.
And it's funny that he already innately knew that he couldn't talk and listen at the same time, because we learned that over time. But it's a skill that you can practice at home, and it makes school way easier.
Fantastic. Well, that is very interesting. I think more people should look into this. And yeah, let's go check out some of the other things here at Optimize. Thanks very much. All right, folks. Well, there you have it. That was Optimize Healing. You saw Penny. You saw Mandy. Of course, Doug. The hyperbaric chamber. So many things go on here. Not just chiropractic care, but all around physiological care. I hope that I had that word right.
Yeah, that's definitely right. That's the way the body runs, and what we're trying to do is optimize it. Hence the name.
So remember, folks, this is Optimize Healing Centers here in Port Elgin. This is Jason Steele for Saugeen Shores 20 and 20 with Doug Friday. Have a Merry Christmas.
Have a Merry Christmas and thank you.